Welcome, chess enthusiasts. Get ready for some thrilling games, insightful commentary, and expert analysis. Whether you're a seasoned player or just starting out, this channel has something for everyone. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Today we see a King's Gambit declined opening, with Ikwan_Nazir as white, and Mu Gronk as black, on chess.com. After the initial moves 1, e4 e5 2, f4, we see black's bishop move to c5, attacking the pawn on f2. White chooses to defend it with the knight, moving it to f3. Black then moves the knight to c6, setting up a potential fork on d4. The King's Gambit declined. Classical variation is a popular chess opening that begins with the moves 1, e4 e5 2, f4 bc5 3, nf3. This opening is characterized by white sacrificing a pawn in order to gain control of the center of the board and launch a quick attack on black's position. Black, on the other hand, declines the gambit by not capturing the pawn and instead develops their pieces with moves like bc5 and nf6. The classical variation, in particular, is a solid and reliable choice for black. After 3, nc6, black is preparing to castle and solidify their position. White has a few different options from this point, but the most common is to play 4, nc3, which develops a knight and puts pressure on black's center. Overall, the King's Gambit declined. Classical variation is an exciting and dynamic opening that requires both players to play accurately in order to gain an advantage. It is a great choice for players who enjoy tactical positions and the thrill of the attack. Continue to the game. At move 4, white moves the knight to c3, putting pressure on the center of the board. Black responds by pushing the d-pawn forward, opening up a line for the bishop to attack white's pawn on e4. White takes the pawn on f4 with the e-pawn, hoping to gain an advantage in the center. At move 6, black moves the knight to f6, attacking the pawn on e4. White chooses to capture the pawn on f4 with the bishop, rather than the pawn on e5. Black captures the bishop with their knight, and white recaptures with the knight. We can see that both sides are actively developing their pieces, trying to control the center of the board. At move 9, white captures the pawn on d4 with their knight, and black captures with their queen. This exchange leaves white with a strong knight on d4, controlling key squares in the center of the board. At move 11, white moves their queen to c4, putting pressure on the black position. Black responds by moving their queen to d5, attacking white's pawn on a2. White captures the black pawn on c5 with their bishop, and black recaptures with the d-pawn. At move 15, black moves their rook to c8, defending the pawn on c5. White chooses to move their bishop back to c4, putting pressure on black's king position. At move 19, white captures the black queen with their knight, leaving black in a difficult position. Black responds by moving their rook to d4, attacking white's knight. At move 23, white captures the black pawn on g5 with their queen, putting even more pressure on the black position. Black responds by capturing white's pawn on h2, hoping to create a counterattack. At move 25, white moves their rook to f6, attacking the black king. Black responds by moving their king to f8, hoping to avoid any potential checks. At move 27, white delivers a checkmate with their queen on d8, ending the game in a decisive victory for white. Overall, we saw a well-played game by white, who controlled the center of the board and pressured the black position. Black made some strong moves but ultimately fell victim to white's strong knight on d4 and the pressure exerted by white's queen. One lesson we can learn from this game is the importance of developing your pieces early on in the game. Both sides made some questionable moves early on, but it was white who was able to take advantage of black's mistakes and quickly develop a strong position on the board. White was able to control the center of the board and launch a successful attack against black's king. Another lesson is the importance of being aware of potential tactics and threats on the board. Black made a blunder with the move 12, nxd5, which allowed white to capture the bishop with check and gain control of the center. This move ultimately led to black losing the game. Overall, this game serves as a reminder to players of all levels that strong development, awareness of potential tactics, and careful calculation are key factors in a successful chess game. And that's a wrap, folks. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the world of chess. We hope you've learned something new. gained some inspiration for your own games, and most importantly, had fun. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more exciting content. Until next time, keep playing and keep winning.